Welcome agents. What if I told you it was possible to get a plus 168% total armor attribute on a piece of gear? Well, today I want to talk to you about the new armor bug causing some players to become almost invincible with crazy armor as high as nearly 750,000. Now on top of that, the PC record is now under 20 minutes for the raid completion time, and a huge discussion thread has opened up about skills on Reddit that I want to briefly touch on. With that in mind, if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button below, subscribe for dedicated Division content, and turn on notifications to never miss a video. Let's get started. So you're probably thinking this is a clickbait video, there's just no way that you can get a total armor attribute of 168%, but I wish I was lying to you guys. This is insane. And it kind of reminds me of the game-breaking glitches from the Division, like the RPM glitch and the mod stacking glitch, for example. Basically, there is a total armor bug, glitch, whatever you want to call it right now, that allows you to get crazy high percentages in normalized game modes like Dark Zone and Conflict. And this is not a visual bug, it does work in-game. Now on screen, you're going to see a few examples, one of them showing you an armor amount for a character at 745k, and that's because they've got a plus 168% total armor attribute. Now imagine going into the Dark Zone and coming up against a player with 745k armor. I mean, not only would you not be able to down them ever, but they'd have crazy damage as well when you take into account Unstoppable Force, giving them an extra 58% damage or more. Now the thing is, you don't need to invest in armor. Just having the base armor of any build and then increasing that by 165% is crazy. For example, a base armor of 200k, which in the current patch is fairly low. This would increase to 530k and more in normalized PvP mode. So how does this work is what you guys are probably asking yourselves. Well, it's actually pretty simple. Now, this happens when you recalibrate a World Tier 5 total armor percent roll onto a level 1 to 30 piece of gear, in this instance at level 18, and then the new normalization system then scales the roll up to World Tier 5 because it still sees it as a low level item. So you're probably thinking, well crap, this is unbelievably bad, especially for level 1 to 30 players, but that's really the only people that are affected. But you'd be wrong, because these armor rolls are popping up in World Tiers, World Tier 1, 2 and 3, and as you know, in the latest update, the Dark Zone especially now has only 2 brackets, either levels 1 to 30 and then World Tiers, meaning people are running into the Dark Zone with these builds, at World Tier 5, and they've just got crazy armor. It's also been stated that you can roll these crazy total armor percentages from low-level gear right onto your level 500 gear, meaning people are abusing this. They are absolutely abusing this, and people are also doing the thing where they're in the highest gear or World Tier 5, but they're putting on these low pieces of item with these crazy armor percentages rolls, and they're abusing this to get through the raid. Now, I don't recommend you use this glitch or bug, whatever you want to call it, because it creates a bad experience for others, and it could absolutely land you in a lot of trouble with the devs, especially if you're using this to complete raids and all that other stuff. Now, I can't imagine this will be around for long, and to be honest, it's a lot of effort if you haven't got a second character, having to create another character, go through all of the campaign, and a lot of people have done this already for the level 19 mods, but generally people haven't done that, so having to go through all of that just for this, I mean, as of right now, it'll probably be patched soon anyway, but I thought I'd bring this to light so the devs can get even more visibility. People are using this, people are abusing this, and it does need to be fixed as soon as possible, because we don't want a repeat of what happened in the Division 1, because that killed the game massively. Now, before we move on to other things, there is currently a plus 25% total armor attribute roll in the clan vendor, but it's only available between levels 22 and 26. Now, some people are joining clans in this range, going to the vendor to collect this piece of gear, and then leaving the clan. I don't recommend you do that, but that's what people are doing. Now, why is it that when you have max gear score or max clan level, like I currently have, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do, why is it that none of these really high rolls appear ever? I mean, that 25% is not near the maximum. This spreadsheet here gives you the minimum and maximum rolls for every attribute in the game and every piece of gear. Now, I'm not sure where this originated from, but credit goes to whoever made this. It's really cool. As you can see on the chest piece, it's possible to get a max roll of 36.5% for the total armor percentage attribute. I mean, I've looked through this spreadsheet and never seen some of these really high rolls ever, and I don't expect to see them as well. At the bottom is the key, like for example, damage to elites. Now, I've seen 45% on a mask and 48%, but apparently the max roll for a gear set item is 55%, and for high end, it's 51%. Now look at the max roll for the headshot damage percentage on the chest piece, 28%. Now, has anyone seen a roll like this in the game before? I actually want you guys to leave your feedback in the comments below and let me know if any of you have received these really high, crazy rolls from drops, because I'd be interested to see how many of you have. Now, as per my last video, I know the odds are astronomically low because of RNG, so I'm not expecting any of you to say that you've received these, and that's a real shame because there's some crazy numbers here that I just wish we could get a hold of, another way aside from RNG, and I spoke about it before. Optimization station, I want it to come back. Anyway, we're going to move on. So in other news and updates, the PC raid completion time record is now just 18 minutes and 18 seconds. The Xbox record is currently approximately 38 minutes, and I believe the PS4 record is around 41 minutes, but I could be wrong about that because I don't have a PS4, and apparently no one wants to answer that question for me on Twitter, so if that's wrong, then just let me know in the comments down below. Now, to think only 2 weeks ago, the PC record was 5 hours, and I appreciate that was the first run. The same for console, which was about 39 hours. Now, what these numbers show me is that the raid is actually very quick and easy once you have the mechanics and DPS down, which on PC, of course, is much easier, and that's reflected in the times. Now, what I hope for in the next raid is a much more complexity in its mechanics and problem solving, and less about having the most damage possible, which is what this raid basically is. Now, I'll talk about this more in a future video, but I just thought I'd give you an update on the completion records. Next up, and I highly recommend that you head on over to Reddit after this video, because there's a discussion thread talking about skills in The Division 2, which I'm sure a lot of you are passionate about. Now, as of me writing this script, the community's favourite skill for PvE is the Reinforcer Chem Launcher, which, was pretty obvious. Favourite for PvP is the Reinforcer Chem Launcher, again, obvious. The worst skill for PvE is currently the Blinder Firefly. In PvP, it's the Blinder Firefly as well. Now, to me, these results are very obvious, and for obvious reasons. Now, this post will give the devs a much needed look at what the community thinks needs to be changed in order to make all the skills feel useful, and how skills can be changed to make a skill focused build be a genuine choice for PvE and PvP, which at the moment is nowhere near. Now, I don't know too much about the skills myself, as I rarely use skill builds, and that's why I never actually make videos about it. But I know there is a bad place for them at the moment, with 95% of skills basically being redundant at this point. What I know is that the devs shouldn't look at these polls and nerf the skills people are using the most. I don't want to see a chem launcher, the Reinforcer Chem Launcher, be absolutely nerfed to the ground. They have to look at all the other skills and figure out how they're going to make them useful. The skill discussion is above my head, to be honest, guys, but if that's your thing, please go over there and give your constructive feedback and solutions, because I know the devs are going to be looking at this and they're going to be making some serious changes. So before we end this video, guys, I just want to show you what's going on at Cassie Mendoza this week with the named weapons. For me, she is just southeast of this new Venice control point. For everyone else, it could be somewhere else. She does spawn in different places for different people. So let's have a quick look here. I've not seen these myself yet. So we've got the Rail Splitter and Lightning Rod. The Rail Splitter, as you can see, is a CTAR. I'm just going to quickly read through the text here. Took this off one of your dead colleagues. No hard feelings, question mark. So pretty harsh. But let's have a look at the talents measured, which isn't a particularly good talent, to be completely honest, even though it's had a slight buff with the update. And then we've got extra plus 20% extra capacity, which is actually pretty good for the CTAR. You don't really need RPM with a CTAR. Having that extra mag size is actually really important. And then Wuzkali, I think that's how you say it. Again, not a particularly good holster talent either. So I want to say that for this weapon, I mean, you could take it and just take off measured and then put on something else. It's good that it's got extra on there, so maybe you could pick this up. If you're one for picking up all the named weapons, then of course you're going to get it anyway. And moving on to Lightning Rod, which is the custom PF45. We've got Salvage. Killing a target has a plus 50% chance to refill the magazine. That's actually a pretty good talent, I think. I don't like the fact it's 50%, but yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before either. Plus 15% stability and then transmission as well. Again, not particularly good in the sense that normally you use pistols for their holster talent. This holstered talent transmission, while holstered, shock applied to the agent transfers to an enemy within 10 meters. Again, it's very situational, probably not worth it. But the inscription reads, strike hard and fast, but also unexpectedly. I do like how, or I say I do, but I'm being sarcastic. I like how these inscriptions and stuff literally have no, reflect nothing on the weapon. But anyway, guys, that are the named weapons this week. If you want them, they're here. That's really everything for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope the devs really get into this armor bug as soon as possible and get it gone. I don't recommend the use of this, but the more people that do use it, the quicker the devs will see it as a problem and fix it, which is why I wanted to address it in today's video. Thanks for all your support anyway, and until the next one, Epic out.